The universe is big, very big. So big that for many humans it is hard for them to grasp the concept of there being a huge expanse of space out there, thousands of times the size of Earth. On top of that, hardly any of us have seen all of Earth. It is home to many solar systems, only one of which we know. At 4.6 billion years old, our solar system is complicated and large, at least 7 billion miles across. It is home to 8 planets, 166 moons, approximately 42 dwarf planets, well, not that type of dwarf, and billions of asteroids, comets and meteorites. All of our known planets are made out of the tiny particles and specks of dust left after the birth of the Sun, our giant life-supporting star. The premature planets collided with floating debris, gradually building up to reach the size it is now. All of the planets in our solar system have different orbit times around the Sun. Earth orbits around the Sun at approximately 365 days and rotates fully once every 24 hours. In 150 AD, Ptolemy thought that Earth was in the centre of our solar system because he couldn't explain the strange movement of Mars, Venus, Jupiter and Saturn in the naked eye. But Copernicus contradicted this unlogical theory. In 1543, he wrote a book explaining that the Sun was in the centre. The solar system is divided into two. The inner is made up of Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, and the outer is made up of Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Billions of miles beyond the Sun is the Kuiper Belt, far larger than our entire planetary system. The Kuiper Belt is home to billions of our solar system's comets, icy flying rock. There are 3,350 known comets in our solar system. Even further out than the Kuiper Belt is the scattered disk, a belt of strangely orbiting objects. Now finally we come to the heliosphere, an immense magnetic bubble that creates the final edge of our solar system. Used to be thought as two separate stars, Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system. It is said to be not much bigger than our moon. Mercury is almost off bounds for anyone to be able to visit it, because of it being dangerously close to the Sun. However, this may be proven wrong. In 1974, a space probe made it as close as 200 miles away from it. The atmosphere of Mercury is so weak that any comets heading for the planet will completely smash into the rock surface. The core consists of more iron than any other planet in our solar system. It is very, very dense. Second planet from the Sun and our closest neighbour, Venus is named after the Roman goddess of love. Despite this planet being very similar in size, similar in gravity and composition to Earth, and when it was younger it seemed to be most likely filled with water, this planet's atmosphere is purely carbon dioxide and can reach up to 900 degrees Fahrenheit. This is what it would be like to have global warming out of control on your planet. Scientists have estimated that there are approximately 100,000 volcanoes on Venus. Venus is the slowest rotation of all our planets, so slow that strangely enough, a day on Venus is longer than a year on Earth. Our home planet and the fifth largest, Earth is the only planet not named after Greek or Roman mythology. Touch wood, Earth is the only planet that supports life. However, many believe that out there, in the rest of the universe, there are other life forms yet to be found. Earth is 92 billion miles away from the Sun, and we were created out of what was left after the birth. At the very centre of our planet is the core, which is made of iron and is extremely hot. Then further out from the core is the mantle. This is made of rock. Our seasons are to do with the tilt of Earth and how far away certain parts of Earth are from the Sun. The greater tilt, the more defined seasons. From mountain ranges, Grand Canyons to rolling plains, Mars is very similar to Earth. However, many aspects of Mars are completely different from Earth. For many years, us humans have had the illusion that there are aliens living on Mars, ever since we noticed the canal-like patterns on the surface, making us think that it was inhabited by intelligent aliens. But it is very unlikely that this would be the case. If humans did attempt to try and live on Mars, there are many things preventing us from surviving. Number 1. There is almost no oxygen for humans to breathe. Number 2. It is half the size of Earth, so it is very small and will not have enough room for all humans. It is 900 to 1,200 miles across. Number 3. The atmosphere has very little greenhouse gas, causing it to be very cold. So it is unlikely that Mars will ever be a welcoming place for humans. Mars has 2 moons orbiting around it, but they are actually thought to be asteroids caught in orbit by the gravity Mars holds, because of their unsphere-like shape. Mars also has a tilt similar to Earth, so the seasons are similar too. Mars' red-looking surface is purely rust, which is an indicator that there was liquid water on it once upon a time. There are also the worst dust storms in the solar system located on Mars. This huge, overwhelming gas giant is so big that it is 2.5 times the size of all our planets in our solar system put together. Being mainly composed out of helium and hydrogen, this means that it is the third brightest at night after the Moon and Venus. Its energy is so powerful that it is able to give off more energy than it absorbs from the Sun. Because of its size, it is not unusual to expect that it has a lot of moons. It has 63. But despite its ridiculous size, it rotates faster than any other planet in our solar system. As it's a gas giant, it is impossible to land on the surface because of the pressure in the atmosphere. However, scientists have had to figure out that Jupiter has a rocky, solid core. Jupiter is extremely important to us because it's a watcher over us, and without it, humankind wouldn't survive. This is because every time an asteroid comes heading for Earth, it is pushed away by the gravity Jupiter holds. The bands of different colours represent the atmosphere and the altitudes of clouds. Also, Jupiter is famous for its red dot. This small dot actually represents that there is a storm on the planet. 6 planets away from the Sun, Saturn is rather large, 9 times larger than Earth. Saturn's core is very dense and solid. Not only is it the largest planet, but it is the brightest and is very hot. Huge storms manage to churn up the atmosphere. There is a huge amount of pressure. Saturn is famous for its rings around it. They are actually thought to be comets, asteroids, etc. caught in orbit. Uranus is the 7th planet from the Sun and is considered a gas giant because there is no solid surface anywhere on the planet. Unlike many other planets, Uranus can be seen with the naked eye and wasn't discovered until 1781. At 1.78 billion miles from the Sun, it is the 3rd largest planet in our solar system. Uranus's gravity is 90% of Earth's, so if we were to live up there, you may have a little bounce in your step. Unlike many other planets, Uranus has 27 moons. We have 1. Named after the Roman god of the sea, Neptune is the 8th planet from the Sun, right at the back. Thought to be the 4th largest in diameter and 3rd by mass, but altogether it is 17 times the size of Earth. Neptune is similar in composition to Uranus, and its interior is mainly made out of rock and ice. Not only is it cold by being the last planet from the Sun, but it has a large expanse of ice on the surface. Its atmosphere is mainly composed of helium and hydrogen. Neptune sports some of the highest weather patterns in the solar system. We know this because when Voyager 2, Neptune's only visitor, went around the planet, on the surface we were able to see a spot very similar to Jupiter's famous spot. A huge dense hole that has such a strong gravitational pull that not even light can escape. The concept of black holes were first thought of being in our universe in the 18th century, but Albert Einstein figured out the concept of relativity to make black holes more understandable. Some believe that they are so strong that they can bend time. Black holes once were a star. Luckily, our sun is unable to become a black hole because all aspects are too small, the gravity and the size. It has to be 10 to 15 times larger. In 1915, Einstein theorized relativity and said that dark energy was the reason why the universe gradually sped up. A wormhole is basically a tunnel through time and space, like from Doctor Who, connecting together a shortcut from one part of the universe to another, or another period of time. It is debatable for humans to be able to travel through time by wormholes. Some believe they could be manufactured for humans' travel. Dark matter is a jelly-like substance, but undetectable and invisible. We have no idea of its composition. It gives off no light, but has a gravitational force so strong that it can hold together many galaxies. However, the pull is the only thing detectable of dark matter. A satellite is an object in space that orbits around a planet. You can have man-made ones or natural ones. Strangely enough, our moon is a natural satellite. But how do they stay in orbit? A satellite stays in orbit because an object is accelerating. Gravity from the core of the planet pulls it in, making it rotate around the planet. Once it's in the planet's gravity, it is constant. That is why the moon has stayed in orbit for Earth for so long. Satellites aren't only used for discovering the rest of the universe, well, the solar system so far, but they are also used for everyday needs. Well, like the weather, the TV and the radio, which we use every day. Pluto was discovered in 1930, the only planet, well, a dwarf planet, to only be found in the 20th century. The name was suggested by an 11-year-old schoolgirl from Oxford. The first two letters of Pluto created the initials of the discoverer, Percy Lowell. Because there is no greenhouse effect on Pluto, Pluto is the most coldest planet. Well, a dwarf planet again. In 2006, the small, unusual planet was demoted to a dwarf planet because it didn't fit into the criteria that makes a true planet. Number 1, it has to orbit around the Sun. Pluto succeeded on this. Number 2, gravity has to be strong enough to keep its sphere-like shape. Pluto also succeeded in this. Number 3, Pluto fails on this one. After millions of collisions, debris surrounding the planet has to be cleared off. Nearly as soon as we began life, the Sun has been treated like God because of its glowing appearance. Almost like a ball of fire, the heat and light that comes off from the Sun is by transforming matter into energy, making thermonuclear reactions, by hydrogen atoms bonding together, creating helium atoms, and joining together, they lose matter to create energy that is the Sun. This theory is known as E equals mc squared. However, our loyalty to the Sun will one day be a waste. A process called nuclear fusion will make the Sun expand, killing Earth and any other planets, bursting out pockets of gas into space, leaving behind a white dwarf small star. Eventually, over time, will be converted to a black dwarf, a dead star. But this will happen 5.5 billion years from now, so don't worry. Being at the very centre of our atmosphere, the Sun is so dense, 99% of matter in our solar system is concentrated here. The phases of the Moon depend on its position in relation to the Sun and the Earth. Is there anything yet to find out? Well, MAVEN is the second mission selected for NASA's Mars Scout program. It is to study Mars and find out whether there is actually water on this planet. This will be happening November 18th to December the 7th, 2013.